Hey, what is up everyone? Killian here. I'm going to be making this video regarding how to gear up with PVE. I made a PvP video. A lot of people were requesting PvE. I attempted to make a PvE one, but then there were a couple mistakes in there which I promptly got yelled at several times. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm remaking the video here and now with the more proper, a little bit more well defined in terms of how to gear up for PvE. So, first thing, guys, whenever you hit level 65, if you use my How to Get Fresh Gear at 65 video, you probably have your Ida Kneel gear. Your Ida Kneel is by hitting 65, completing all of your storyline quests and everything like that up to you know, basically the level 65 point, and doing Marseilla's Catacombs as well as Savex Armory. You're 65 now. You're 65, you have your Ida Kneel gear, and you're just like, where do I go from here? First thing, guys, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working with your Fulminant Gear. What this is, if you go to High Watch, right? You go to the Vanguard Initiative Quartermaster, you will see under the Vanguard supply the gear right here. This is your Fulminant gear. This is non-enchantable gear, alright? Non-enchantable gear that already has an extremely high attack modifier, already masterwork base stats. So for the most part, this gear is very solid. At this point, this gear you're going to be getting two ways. Alright, you can get it from Vanguard credits, which is right here. You might even have enough credits to buy this gear whenever you first hit 65 just through leveling. You've probably accrued quite a bit of Vanguard Initiative credits to that point, and you might be able to buy this gear straight up. All in all, let's see, we got 750, 1050, so 1650 Vanguard credits can buy you the entire Fulminant gear outside of the belt. So, if you don't want to take that route, like let's say that you hit 65, you already got yourself some Vanguard or some glyphs, which is also a good choice whenever you first hit 65, or you may have used it to get yourself some of the newer crystals and whatnot. You don't have enough credits. What you can do is you can go through Baptismal Rise normal mode. This was changed in the recent patch, which they basically made it a 7-man dungeon and reduced how hard it actually was. As you can see right here, Baptismal Rise only a 2-star rating, recommended level of 180. This means you will be able to go in with your Ida Kneel gear, and all the bosses and everything drop this gear. They drop the Fulminant gear straight up, as well as getting yourself a Fulminant belt and a good pair of both rings and jewelry. Okay, or just jewelry basically. It does not have a neck piece, which we'll go into that at a later point. So, whenever you fresh hit 65, you have your Ida Kneel gear. Your first order of business, guys, is going to be to obtain Fulminant gear. You don't have to worry about masterworking it. You don't have to worry about enchanting it. This is good gear to start off just to begin with. Alright, at this point, once you have obtained your full Fulminant gear, you're going to be taking the step up. The step up is called Roth. Roth Gear can be obtained basically several different ways, like you saw with the Fulminant. First thing, whenever you've run Baptismal Rise, or you've run a couple dungeons and things like that, you've probably seen something called a Cosmo Shard drop. Alright? Cosmo Shard can be used to obtain both Roth Gear as well as DV Gear. DV it's for PvP, which I have a whole video for that already. But you can obtain Roth Gear through this. Alright. The only thing that I would say, Roth you very well could skip. Okay. If you're trying to get into a guild or you're running with like a group of friends and you're really wanting to take like a standard progression without kind of risking maybe having to get carried a little bit or whatever it may be, then this is where you'll switch over to a Roth Gear. Things about Roth: one, you can buy it straight up off of the trade broker or get it crafted by a master armorsmith, master weaponsmith. Or you can get Cosmo Shards from running all the other dungeons, which this will lead up to basically enough Cosmo Shards to buy the gear. I honestly highly wouldn't recommend using Cosmo Shards to get it. Or you can do Acheron's Infernal Normal. This is a 10-man dungeon, which in normal mode is very easy. Even in your Ideal gear, basically your goal, once you've obtained your Fulminant, is to get to this 190 item level, whether it be through possibly buying some innerwear off of the trade broker, or buying, well, heck, making sure that you have up-to-date jewelry, things along those lines. This is what you want to do right here. Acheron's Inferno Normal, because, for one, it drops Roth armor, which I wouldn't necessarily say you need by any means. You might want to get the belt, but that's about it. But the main thing that this is going to give you guys is it actually drops a loot box. Alright, this loot box has a chance to drop Schisma. Alright, Schisma is basically the step down from the best in slot PVE gear. And let's kind of transition to that. Schisma gear, once again, it can be attained through the weapon box in Acheron's Normal. Alright, Acheron's Inferno Normal mode will, whenever you queue for it through Dungeon Finder, will give you a random loot box, alright, that has a chance to drop your weapon. If you don't get your weapon, you get some other class's weapon, you can dismantle it and get feedstock, which you are going to need in enchanting your Schisma to begin with. So this is why I was saying you could possibly skip your Roth altogether if you can obtain this 190 item level. And once you've obtained your Schisma weapon, okay? Once you've obtained your Schisma weapon, for whether it be through the normal mode, Acheron's Inferno, or possibly even if you're able to find a guild or whatever it may be, the Acheron's Inferno hard mode, this is where you're really going to start shining as a PvE player. So basically, it's the best gear outside of Lucid, which is currently the best in slot PvE gear. It has a skill roll on the chest piece. What I mean by this, guys, is if you look on higher end gear, you'll see for a Berserker, if you look just above the +3, +6, +9, you'll see increases damage on Thunderstrike by 8%. Thunderstrike is a major skill for Berserkers, and so basically I have an 8% damage increase on that, and that's through my Schisma chest piece. Alright, this is the gear that you want to get if you want a PvE, and you're going to be obtaining that through doing Acheron's Inferno hard mode, Acheron's Inferno normal mode for the weapon, as well as making money. And another thing, it can be crafted, but it's going to be fairly hard, fairly expensive to get. I wouldn't recommend taking this route. But the main thing to note about the Schisma gear is that it is tier 7. Okay, tier 7 means that you have to use tier 7 feedstock. Tier 7 feedstock is fairly expensive right now, and you use a lot of it, as well as tier 7 outcast. So if at all possible, you want to be basically try and get this gear and try to +9 it, and then slowly work on +12ing. If you are in, let's say, full Schisma and you don't know where to go from there, you want to +12 your weapon first, and then your chest piece. Okay, weapon and chest are the two most important pieces for any DPS class or tank class. If you're a healer, do the chest piece first, because that's going to give you enhanced survivability, and that's really all that you need. Once you've obtained this gear, right, guys, you've gotten a hold of what exactly you're doing, you know, how the queuing system works, how everything ends up going, and at this point you're going to start running a little bit more challenging, a little bit more mechanic driven dungeons. These are things like your Timescape, mainly Timescape actually, Timescape and your Shattered Fleet, things along these lines, because what this will get you is your edge tick and force tick and force talk, and edge talk. These are your good jewelry. This is the best jewelry you can get in the game currently, and that's where you're going to be moving up from there. One more thing, guys, regarding the overall gear progression, and just to kind of reiterate, it goes hit 65, have Ida Kneel. Okay, hit 65, have Ida Kneel gear. Once you hit 65 and you have your Ida Kneel, you want to work for your Fulminant. Okay, this is your first step, guys. Getting Fulminant using Vanguard credits or running Baptismal Rise 7-man. You can queue that through the dungeon perfectly fine. You will be fine. Once you've obtained this, you may want to consider getting Roth Gear. Roth Gear, you'll be getting this through getting Cosmo Shards or running Acheron's Inferno normal mode. I would highly recommend just doing Acheron's Inferno normal. This gear will only become better if you +9 or higher this gear. If you are trying to +9 Roth Gear, it is going to take a little bit of money to do so. So if you are tight on cash, and I'm not saying real life cash, I'm saying in-game gold or whatever it may be, you do not need to +9 this, and you could possibly skip Roth Gear altogether. Lastly, you're going to be getting Schisma Gear. This is where you've hopefully obtained your weapon through the Acheron's normal dungeon queue. You've obtained your weapon, and at this point, you probably want to enchant your weapon, get a +10, +11, +12 weapon at that point after you've masterworked it. Once you've done that, you will be able to run pretty much any content that you need to. Then you can work on getting your chest piece. You can work on getting all the remainder of the Schisma Gear. Heck, and then you can also work on getting the best jewelry in the game. Once again, in the meantime, while you are, because I know this is going to take longer than like a week or whatever, or possibly not, but it's probably going to take longer. It's not a one-day thing. In the meantime, if you are working towards the Roth Gear, or you've gotten your Fulminant Gear and you're just kind of trying to progress, doing your 2 or 1 Acheron Inferno normals a day, what you want to be doing in the meantime is running your Vault of Caprima and Shattered Fleet. This is going to give you Cosmo Shards, as well as getting you upgraded jewelry outside of the Baptismal Rise, Fire Trill, and the Fire Trill gear, or Force Trill, or whichever class that you are respectively. So, hopefully I've done a decent job at kind of explaining this overall. In the near future, I am going to be making a guide on how to craft the best gear, which is going to be your Tensis gear for PvP, as well as your Lucid gear for PvE. But this guide was intended for players who are just hitting 65 and trying to figure things out. Where do you go from here? And I'll also probably do a video guide on making sure all of your stuff is properly set up. But I just wanted to give people some guidance. I just wanted to give people a direct idea of what progression in terms of gear and everything like that is for you. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and share this so other new players will know, how to go about progressing, because, everyone comes into a game new, everyone's looking for content, unless someone really explains it to them, it's hard to find out things on your own. Alright guys, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, as well as follow me on Twitter @Kilrian, because that will automatically upload or update anytime I start to stream or upload a YouTube video. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Catch y'all next time.